see. I should be able to find us. Let me see if I can find us over here. Goodness. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I had to go dig out my vintage. Y'all, this was my very first Chocolatour apron. It's kind of rough. It's been washed, but it looks really dirty. But we're going to paint today, so I don't want to mess up my new one. Let's see. Can I find us? Where are we? I can't see if anyone's... Oh, there we are. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm live. Holy bananas. Y'all, the struggle is real. Hey, Elaine. How are you, girl? Oh, my goodness. The struggle is real. You would think this would get easier. Okay, let me pin a post over here if I can find us over here. Click on that. Okay. I should be able to. Hey, Valerie. Hey, Margaret. Okay. Got it. All right. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh, Lord have mercy, y'all. It's been a week. How are you guys all doing? Let me see if it's going to let me see comments here. Okay. I see Margaret and I see Valerie and Elaine. You got your happy mail today. Isn't that awesome? Sprinkled some love. Appreciate you, Margaret. Hey, Valerie. Okay, I think I'm caught up now. There's Michelle. How are you, girl? Woo. So, guys, so I ordered a new napkin rack, and I was super excited to get it. It's going to give me a lot more room, and they delivered it, and I don't even know how to describe this. The box, now this is not a small rack, it's big. The box was there was two boxes. One was small, and then the rack, it is big. It was destroyed. I'm like, and like you can hear stuff rattling around in the box. Like I'm like, you're gonna deliver that to me like that? I'm like, Houston, we have a problem. Hey, Jana. I mean, I'm like, what? So anyway, so the main company, then, you know, when it gets like close here, then they hand it off to a local company to deliver it. So I knew that. So I knew the guy that delivered it, I mean, he doesn't even work for the major main company. I'm going to roll my sleeves up so I don't get paint all over me. And so, you know, I was like, it's not his fault. So he said, well, if I was you, because he was like embarrassed to even take it off the truck, which he did. Hey, Lourdes, how are you? So anyway, he took it off the truck and he said, well, if I was you, I'd write this, this, and this. I mean, in all my years getting, you know, stuff for the salon and shipments from here, there, I've never seen such a thing. Anyway, needless to say, the rack was mutilated. I mean, just mutilated. There was a part of the main pole that goes up through the middle. Part of the pole was even missing. It was gone. It was gone. It fell out of one of the great big holes in the box. Anyway, So, yeah, so I've been dealing with that and the company I ordered it from. And so I'm going to be getting a new one. But I was so excited to get it. And then it's like that. But that's life. Oh, thank you so much for the blessing. Thank you so much for the blessing. So, y'all, if you sprinkle the love today, the word today is going to be book. B-O-O-K. Book. If you sprinkle the love, come back and write book in the comments. Because we're going to make some books out of wood. Just a piece of wood. So we're going to have some fun with that. I did get some new napkins, so I've been playing with those too. We're going to use those on some of these books. So welcome to Diane's Designs and Boutique. If it's your first time with us, please say hello. Let us know where you're checking in from. We do two drawings at the end of the week on Sunday for people that chatted up in the chat and throw up hearts and wow faces and all that stuff, and sprinkling the love. So if you sprinkle the love, make sure to come back and put the word book. So I've got my apron on. So I kind of pre-started these, so hopefully we'll be able to move through them fast. So what I've got here is 2x6 boards. So they come 2x6x8. You can get them at Home Depot. And they'll even do, well, it depends on the Home Depot and how big of an area you're in, I guess. Because they'll definitely do 2 cuts for you for free. But if they're not busy, I've had them do cuts for me and they didn't charge me for any of them, and it was more than 2. So you just have to check with your own local Lowe's or Home Depot. I know they all do that. So if you don't have the saws and stuff, you know, I can just cut my own. Then you can just do that. But yeah, so we have 3 pieces of 2x6s that we're then going to paint and stack and make them look like a stack of books. So you see a lot of these on Pinterest and different places, and oftentimes they're just painted white, you know, or something like that. But I'm going to make them a little more authentic. I want to make them really look like books. So hello, Heather. How are you? Hello, Debbie. Hello, Deb. Let's see. Hi, Stacy. How you doing? Thanks for coming, guys. So that's what we're doing today. So I've kind of pre-painted. So I painted this with chalk paint. So I painted the sides of these 2 and the top of this one. This one is ready to go. So we're going to be doing some decoupaging. We're going to be doing some patterns with chalk couture on these, because I want to make them so that you can stack them and tie them up pretty. Or if you wanted to display them, I want it to really look like a book, if you get my drift. You've been wanting, well, there you go, Margaret. We're on the same page. So I do believe that Stoney and Michelle are going to cut these. They're not doing them yet, but I think they are going to. We've been chit-chatting. And for those of you in our VIP group, we will have a kit with these. So we're going to get started. So I used a kind of an antique white to paint this one. I didn't paint this one side, so you can see that it's, you know, definitely still wood. I will paint the back because I want them to look like real books. So this one is, we're going to start with this one. We're going to start with this one so the paint gets dry. So I'll just show you exactly what I did. So I'm going to take, let's see, what did I want to do on that? I'm trying to think what I wanted to do on this one. So we're going to go this way. So I'm just going to use, it's kind of like a linen white. It's kind of an antique white. And then this one is called, this brown is called Hot Spring Stones. So y'all know that I rarely buy chalk paint. I just make my own. So let me grab my colors. We've got some stone brown. There was so many different ways I could go with these. So I was like, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? All right. So we're going to go with this. Let me get my brush. I I've got my big comfy chair. Oh, you guys, don't let me forget. I got my order from the new launch. I got it. Oh my gosh, too many fun things to play with. Oh, see? That's why I put the old apron on. Y'all, I got to stay kind of clean. I got to do a panel tonight. Little meeting. Okay, so this is ready to go. So we're just gonna paint the edges. So I cut these, I sanded them and rounded the edges. So 2x6s, the edges, it's just like 2x4s. The edges are rounded already. And I left them rounded, but even on my cut edges, I even rounded the edges on that too, because I want them to have a soft edge to them. Hey Norma. Hey Melissa White, how you doing? Good to see you. I hope you are doing well. Okay, so we're just painting the edges because we're gonna make these look like kind of like old books, and we want to even look like you can see the pages, because I'm just kind of detailed that way. So, and I love chalk paint because it dries fast. And I like things that are fast. Usually, a lot of what I do has a lot of steps to it, but each step is pretty fast. Okay, and then let's see, the top, I'm trying to remember what I wanted to do because I just have too many fun things to play with that sometimes I just can't make up my mind. That's how we end up with 14 ribbon bows, you guys, because I can't pick, so I just use them all. Okay, so that's our pages. Hey Connie, how you doing? I hope you're well. So I heard on the news that some states are starting to open up businesses. So I'm hopeful that I can open the salon again soon. So I'm not even going to mess with taking the light paint out of this brush. I'm just going to use, let's see, which one do I want? I want this one, I think. Lord knows, I don't know. This is called Pismo Dunes. So I'm not gonna like get this white paint really in it. I'm just dipping my brush. So if you start with your lighter color, then you don't have to worry, and you can just go on to the next color. Because I like the colors mixed. I want it to look kind of marbled. And after we decoupage, so we're gonna chalk on all of these. I just want a little bit darker book, and we're going to make each one of these books look different, because you know, when you have a stack of books, of real books, they don't all look the same because they're different books. I mean, you know, Lord knows you know, it's entirely possible that I might buy the same book twice because I forgot I had it. It's possible, but it's rare. So we have to, in my mind, in the design in my mind, we have to make the books look different. So that's what we're going to do. So that way they're pretty stacked up and they're pretty standing alone. Okay. That looks good. So that's what I did, only I just kind of prepped these other two before I went live so we could move along. Okay, so we're going to let that start getting dry. Cover up my paint because otherwise I will knock it off the table and spill it all over everywhere. So I'm hoping that life is going to start getting back to normal soon. What do you guys think? How's things where you're at? Seems to be changing daily. Okay. Oh, and of course, yep, I did that. Stuck my thumb right in it. That's okay. That's okay. All right, I do need to, okay, this is the side I didn't paint. Okay. Well, I'm going to use my fingernails that are like half grown off my fingers and my nail stuff to do my nail. Ow! Have not come yet. Come on now, get over there. I'm just going to stick my finger in it and make it go. All right. And then I'll try to clean up my mess here a little bit. Okay. All right, so let's start with this one. We're gonna do some decoupage. So I picked out some pretty napkins. We're gonna use this one. And then, oh gosh, we're not gonna use this one, but how pretty is that? Oh my goodness, love it. Love it, love it. Okay, and we're going to use this nautical one, and that we're only going to use two napkins on this. So on this top one, we're going to use our nautical napkin. So let's see if I can do, I don't think I can do this sitting down. I'm going to have to be up. Okay, so we're going to put this nautical background, and then we're going to chalk on it. So I'm just picking out the part of the napkin I want to use. And I think I'm going to just go ahead and use the straight edge, since that's going to be, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut a piece out of this napkin, because I'm only going to need part of it. So we'll just cut the edge out of the corner. All right. So this first book is going to be nautical. And we're going to, let's see. Connie, they are. Hey, Debbie Daniel Smith, my friend, how are you? Good to see you. Guys, don't forget, if you sprinkle, to put, sprinkle and then come back and put the word book. Debbie says, just announced here today, Minnesota schools will not be opening back up, which I think was expected. I know, yeah, they announced that weeks ago here, and I feel bad for the seniors. But there's places, people that are planning on doing proms as soon as you know we were kind of back to normal. That there's people that are planning on doing proms in their backyard and stuff, and I thought that was so cool. Okay, so on this one we're going to do the ironing technique. So I'm just going to lay it down on there where I need it. Try to get my edges clean. And then we're going to cover it up with parchment. And I've got my iron ready to go. We're just going to iron that on there. Now when you iron, when you do this ironing technique, you really want to make sure you hit all the spots. Because if you get ironing, sometimes you could just fly over it and miss a spot. You want to get all the spots. Perfect, Debbie. Thanks for the sprinkle. Appreciate you. I'm still waiting for Teeny and Linda to get a hold of me from last week. Okay, I think we are down and good. that's perfect. And so then I'm just going to cut off the overhang on the edge. So we have the top part of our book. So we have that nautical piece there. And then I'm going to go ahead and give that another coat of Mod Podge. And we're going to paint the edge. So we're going to paint the edge brown. Maybe I'll do that after because we're going to paint all of them brown. Try to get this moving. A lot of moving pieces to this video, guys. Yeah, Connie, that closed caption is a new thing, fairly new, that I can add when I schedule the video. And we do have some, people that follow us that are deaf. So I was really excited when that option came up. It's been asked for a long time. So I'm just putting a nice thin coat, making sure those edges are down all the way around. Hey, Judy. It's hard to see what Diane is doing with it on. Really? I thought it was like up in the corner or something. I did, Stacy. I just ironed it on. So I had a coat of Mod Podge over the paint. So I did some prep work so that we could do this a little faster because I have a meeting that I've got to be at. Making sure I get my edges down. You're switching to pad. I can see better on than on the phone. Oh, okay, yeah, because I know when I look at it on my iPad, it's like down in the bottom corner. And I can bring y'all closer too. Let me bring you in a little bit closer here. See if that helps. Okay. So I still need to do the floral build on the door tags that we did the other night. But it has been really rainy and cold here, so it was really, you know, they say that you can, you know, I can do the sealer at 50 degrees or above, and I really like it a little bit more than that. So I just decided to set them aside for a few days till this rain passes through. Okay, so that is good. We're going to let that dry. Push this over here. And then let's go to this one. So now this one is painted a little bit darker brown. And this one we are going to, put a pattern down on it. So I have a few different patterns that I was kind of thinking about using. So we have this is what our new herringbone pattern, which is really pretty. So I kind of want this tone on tone. We have these little polka dots, but I think I'm not sure. I don't think I want to use the polka dots. I don't know. And then we have our borders, our boho borders. So these borders we're going to use on the spine of the book when we paint that. Let's see. And then You'll see in a minute what we're going to put, because we're going to chalk on the top of that once it gets dry. So I'm thinking I want to use this new herringbone pattern. I was going to look at our house transfer patterns too. So you can mix and match and use, you know me, I use different pieces all the time. On your phone, it's right where you are working. Gosh, Connie. Is it better on your iPad? I hope it's better on your iPad. And sometimes the closed caption isn't there when I'm live. Sometimes it's there after I am not live. I'm just looking at different patterns from the house transfer pattern. I don't think I want to use those. I think I'm going to go with the herringbone. And we're going to do kind of a tone on tone with that. Get all my pieces back in here. Okay. All right. So I also need to decide what I'm going to put on this. So all of our size A transfers, pretty much all of them will fit on all of these books. So let's do the herringbone pattern on here. Let me get my fuzzing cloth. Much better. Oh, good, good, good. Yeah, I was looking at it last night on my iPad, the video that I put up yesterday. I had to upload one. My body gave out. It was like, no, you're done. You're done. So couldn't do the live yesterday. All right, so I don't think I'm going to do that. All right. Figuring this out as I go, you guys. You're watching the process. Because I know in my mind what I want these to look like. Hopefully it will. It's 81 there. Oh, how nice. Nice, nice, nice. That is a nice temperature. If it's not humid. I do not like humidity. Let's see, where am I going to set this? I've got my big comfy chair here on today. Give my back a little. I finally got to go to the chiropractor. They let them open up just for critical patients. So I was so glad. But man, am I sore. Okay. So we're going to fuzz this really good so it doesn't stick too hard to our book. 90 in the shade there. Woo, Jana. That's getting a bit hot. You know, I grew up in New York, upstate New York, central New York. And man, it would get hot there in the summer. But we rarely get to 80 here. Once in a great while we'll hit 90s, and we have very, very few humid days, even though we live on an island and it's surrounded by water. It's kind of funny that way. Okay, so because this is so much smaller and I don't want this to stick to my plastic, I'm going to take this, or you can take your fuzzing cloth, or a towel, anything, and put under your surface. Because you don't want this to stick to plastic, because it would be really hard to get off and you could ruin your transfer. So if you're at all worried, like the big 18 by 18s, when I'm just using a small portion, you really want a bath towel down. So I'm going to just put this herringbone pattern right on top of here and get my lines straight. And there's a lot of open screen in this one, so you really need to push and make sure you've got your air bubbles out. Okay. And then, like I said, I want to do tone on tone with this. So I'm thinking I might even go in with a shimmer gold on that one. Or I could do the almond. But I think the shimmer gold would be pretty, and then we'll do either a black or an almond for what we're going to write on here. So let's get some shimmer gold happening. Okay, so that is all ready to go. Stacy, I live on Whidbey Island in Washington State, so I'm way up near the Canadian border in the San Juan Islands. Okay. So I moved out here when I was 20 and have been here ever since. So I've been here long enough now they'll actually claim me as their own. I'm an islander. This is going to be pretty. So remember, all our shimmer pastes, they're a little different consistency, and they take a little bit longer to dry. So have any of you guys done book stacks? Have you ever done this before? So just putting extra paste down and then scraping it through, pushing it through the transfer. This would be a fun one to do a workshop with, wouldn't it? That could be fun. Sell the kits and then do a workshop where we do them together. A virtual workshop. And I would do it as a Zoom meeting so that we could see each other and actually see each other. I feel like I can see you guys. Okay. All right, we're going to pull that off. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look at that. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, I'm going to put it sticky side down in my water bath and then just flip it over. So when I put it sticky side down first, that deactivates the sticky so that I can let it go, and then when I flip it over, all of that extra paste just melts away. What drew me to this area? So I had some family out here. My mom and I came out to visit when I was young, and I loved it out here. And I've always been a kind of a go big or go home. You know, my dad was in the Navy, so we moved around a lot. We were overseas. I was born just outside of Paris. And, you know, I miss them so much, but they were the best parents, and they, you know, really, really taught me and encouraged me, and, you know, that I could do anything, right? And so I just decided that I wanted a move, and so I moved out here, and then I met my husband and got married and had babies, and, you know, that's the story, right? So that's how I came out here. And I tell you, I don't miss, you know, I like to go back and visit. Of course, I have family there. My mom was born and raised in New York, and my dad is from Texas. So I like to go visit family, but I don't want to live there. Hey Barbie, how are you? It must be pretty hot down in Arizona now, Stacy. Or are you the one that told me it was like 90? No, that was Jana. Okay, so we're just going to get this dry, and then we're going to chalk over it. Let's see how this is doing. Not quite dry, almost though. Okay, so I'm going to set this piece aside, and we're going to get this other one dry. So I've talked to you guys about different techniques for decoupaging, but of late I've been doing the iron technique, but I thought today I would show you another way to do. So let me get this dry, and of course I forgot to get, I'll have to go on the other side of the camera to get what I need. So that's how I ended out here, and then met Daryl, and you know, gosh, and here we are 30 plus years later. 90 today. Well, that's not too bad for Arizona. It's going to start getting really hot there, isn't it? Let's see. 95-ish this weekend. It's too early to be that hot. Well, if you guys ever if you live in hot climates and you want to go to a beautiful area to cool down, go to the Pacific Northwest, because it's amazing. I'm very blessed to live where I live. It's just beautiful here. And we have a Navy, this is a Navy town, so we have NAS Whidbey Island. And so every now and then, well, and earlier the jets were flying, and they don't fly like right over our house, so it's not roaring thunder, but you can hear them in the background. And they were flying a little bit earlier today. Every once in a while, I think it's the certain type of training they're training for, and they'll come a little closer to the house. But I'm like, Daryl, they're saying go to the pretty blue roof and hang a left. They are, Elaine. They're 2x6, and they're all just a little bit smaller than the next one. Okay, so that's good and dry. So now let me just grab some saran wrap, y'all. We're going to use some saran wrap. I've got it right here in my little bucket. Okay, so this is another technique that I like to use. So on this one, we're not going to use a whole piece of the napkin. We're going to cut out, I think. I'm not sure though. I may use like this middle section. I might use the middle section because I want to keep all those little rosebuds. So here's what I'm thinking that I want. So sort of like that, and then we're going to chalk in the middle because I want it to look really romantic. And I might even go down around the edge of that one. Although, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. So we will use the saran wrap, but I'm not going to cut it. We'll do enough. I've got some candlesticks I just made that we're going to do. And for those, we'll be doing more pieces of the napkin. But for this, I really want that whole piece, and I'm going to chalk right here in the middle. So because of that, I'm going to pop both layers of the back off the whole napkin. That time I got both layers at once. That doesn't happen very often. Okay. So what we're going to do is... Oh my gosh, my cousin is on here. Hey, Jackie. From New York, y'all. We were just talking about New York and how I ended up out here. How are you? Good to see you, Jackie. Well, I feel like I can see you. I can see your name up there, that you're here. How's the family? I haven't talked with Jackie in a while. How is upstate New York with all the coronies going on? Okay, so I'm just putting a thin layer of Mod Podge on the book. So you can see that all my books have the same, are going to have a similar tone to them. So I think that makes them, they look cohesive even though they're different, if that makes sense. So I chose napkins with the same tonal value. I chose my paste colors with the same tonal value, so that all the pieces will be cohesive when laid together, but we're doing them so that they can stand alone. Isn't that a beautiful napkin, Elaine? Yeah, this is one of my new ones that I just got in. I've got a whole new supply of different napkins that are gorgeous. Okay, so before I do anything with the napkin, I'm going to cut a piece of saran wrap. These things never roll out right for me. Y'all have the same problem. They never roll out right for me. Somebody else will grab it and go zip, and it's all off. No, not me. Okay, so, well, that cut pretty good. Normally it doesn't cut that good. All right. So I've got this right here at the ready. Okay. Lay it right like that. Make sure it's all nice and straight. Get everything out of my way. You need a little bit of room to do this. So now if you're working on something that's really flat and thin, then put it up on a box. Get, let me see, do I have one here? So like, you know, like a box, like this, a small box. So you want to make sure, you want the box to be the same size or a little bit more narrow so that you can get around it. And you're going to see why in just a minute. So again, if it's a sign that you're making and it's flat, then get a box and get it up on the box. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this and lay it, see if I can get it laid exactly where I want it the first time. Okay. Now I'm going to take my saran wrap and I'm going to lay it down and I'm going to stretch it. And I'm going to stretch it right out over the corners. And I'm going to stretch it over the corners. Now I can put my hand on it and I can smooth it out. Okay? Just like that. Then I can smooth out the wrinkles with my hand. Okay. Just like that. So let me see if I can show you this. So you can see how smooth that is using saran wrap. So now we're going to let that dry. Make sure I got it down really well. And we're going to let that dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to carve the edges off and then do another coat over the top of that. Okay? So let me swap these out. Let that dry. So is that a new trick y'all had seen before or hadn't? Hello, Judy. Hello, Vicki. How you doing? Okay, so now we have this, and we are going to do, I guess I set that right on. All right, I want to do small things with great love on this. That's going to be the name of our book. So this is a size A transfer. I'm going to bring back my fuzzing mat. Give this a little fuzz. This transfer has been used many, many times. You're welcome, Elaine. Hopefully, we've kind of talked about it, but it's been a while since I've done that technique. I do that a lot when I'm making signs. But it's just been a while since I've done it. Okay. So again, the whole idea is that we want each book to stand alone but be pretty and cohesive when stacked. All right, so I think I'm just going to use our almond, and I'm going to put just a little hint of green. I just want a pop of, I could either go green or, you know what? This book has more of the kind of red color than it does the green on it. So I'm going to use the Current Jam. Y'all know my favorite red. And this should be good to go. And it is. So we'll do those accent pieces. And maybe even the word with in the Current Jam color. Okay, and I think this one should be ready to go. That one may need just about 1/4 of a squirt of water. Just a little thick. This jar is open a lot. This is one of my favorite colors because y'all know I kind of like a little more soft, romantic, farmhouse. That's kind of more of my vibe that I use a lot. So using Chalk Couture just saves me so much time when I'm designing, because I can just lay the transfer down and do it and pull it off. Let's see, so I think I'm going to do these and the word with. I don't want a lot of it. I might do the word, I don't know, I want to keep it simple. Now I'm just going to do the outside pieces. The rest is good. All the middle is going to be the almond. It's like your first gut instinct is normally right. I'm going to try not to go over onto those little leaves. And not overshoot the runway. Stay on the transfer. And then we'll scrape back all the extra and put it right back in the jar. And then we'll come right back with our Current Jam. Just grab those little accent pieces. sticky side down first and then flip it over. So there is our first book cover. Hey Stony, how are ya? Hey Kay, how you doing? There's our first book cover. So we're gonna let that dry and then we're gonna work on the pages. And let's see, how are we here? Go ahead and pull this one back and we're gonna get that dry. Before I go any further, let me wipe these up and close the jars. So I don't stick something in them, not meaning to, because I'm like a bull in a china cabinet some days, guys. I'm telling you. Thanks, Connie. Thanks, Kay. You love that, Elaine? Good, 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 good. Y'all make sure to sprinkle for me. And then if you do, come back and put the word book in the comments. That's our word for today's live. So each live throughout the week will have a different word. And then Sunday will be the special Happy Mail drawing. Okay, got that done. Now, keep that out of the way. That's almost there. So we got to get our Mod Podge dry on here. That second coat sometimes takes a little bit longer to dry. Aren't we all? I'm glad I'm not the only one, I'm telling you. I think it's just because, like, I'm an artist. I'm artistic. I'm artistic in doing hair, and, you know, I just love being creative. But I swear, guys, I squirrel so hard sometimes, I'm growing a tail. That's how hard I squirrel. It's like, and then I'm just all over the place. But I just embrace it. That's part of me. I still have not figured out how to get my comments, because I read them on my phone over here, so that I'm looking at the camera. If I put it right there, then it's in the way. I'll never be a professional videographer, I don't think. Almost there. Almost there. So you want to make sure, it's just like in chalkology, you really want to make sure your first layer is dry before you lay the next layer down. Same thing with these. Okay, that's nice and dry. Let me check this. That's almost there. It's just still slightly damp. So I'm just going to let that. So what we're going to put on here is our ship. So y'all remember we did the ship. We made the ship sign and put in the wreath. Well, now I want the ship on here. However, the ship and the words don't fit on here. So we're going to do it different. Let's see. Let me find out where I put it. Find it. Because I have all the different things that I was thinking to do to make each book unique on its own but cohesive. So this is, I just love this transfer. So this is our ship. And it says, we cannot control the wind, but we can adjust our sails. We cannot direct the wind, but we can adjust our sails. So the ship will go on here. So we're going to do the ship, and then we're going to put the words over the ship, is what I'm thinking is going to happen here. And I'm just trying to decide what colors I want to go with, because I need my words to show up over the ship. And this, I think this should be the name of a book. So we're going to use some black for sure for the outline. My concern is losing the words over the outline of the sails. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, I got it now. I got a plan. Okay. You forgot the word. It's okay, Elaine. The word is book. B-O-O-K, because we're making books. So let's get some fuzz on this, and we'll lay this ship down. It's really sticky. Okay. Boy, that is really sticky. I've got to fuzz, fuzz, fuzz. But that's good that they're sticky. That's why you can use them so many times. And so many different ways. Okay, let's see if that's going to let me let go of it now. All right. So I'm just going to put my finger at the tip of the ship and at the bottom of the ship and just try to even out the same amount of room at the top and the bottom. And then side to side. The transfer is just about the same width as my board. I think it's a little bit crooked yet. Okay. Well, I've got to raise it a little bit higher because there's some water in the transfer. I want to try to get a little bit of that on here. So we're going to come up a little bit higher. Okay. I think I'm ready. And we're not going to do the moon. We're just going to do the birds and the ship. Okay. Do you buy a second transfer of your favorite ones just in case they retire them? Do they warn you if they're going to stop offering one? They do let us know when things are going to retire, and absolutely my favorite ones, I get more than one transfer. And then I do shows, so I also keep inventory here. So we're going to do the whole ship almond. We're going to outline the ship in gold, and we're going to do our birds and our words in black. Okay? That's the plan. Okay, so I'm going to do the ship part first, the sails and the ship. Thank you guys so much for the sprinkles. I really appreciate it. And all the chit chat. And Facebook likes that when we chit chat. So then they'll show more people. Okay, let's just grab our birds. Oh, I love it. Ah, so pretty. Okay. So I'm just going to set this back on here for right now because we need to use the words yet. So I'm just going to lay it there gently and we're going to get this dry. You know, when you're jumping from what, I'm like, okay, well, that book needs a spine and we got to paint the pages in, and I'm trying to think of all the little things we need to do on these books. But we'll get there. What time is it? I got to figure out what time it is. I can't be late for my meeting. That's why I came on a little bit early. Thank you, Vicki. Thanks for sharing the love. If you guys sprinkle some love, then just write the word book in the comments so I can find it really easily. Connie, I have not. Believe it or not, I have no idea why that scares the bejesus. I don't know why that scares me. But I have been asked by many people to do one, so I think I will. And I had a show that was canceled because of it, so I have extra inventory. I don't know why the thought of that scares me. I guess it's because it's like, I don't know. I'm afraid I can't write it all down. That's the part that's, it's not chatting with y'all and showing you all the pretty stuff because, like, I love it. Wow, I love it. So, but it's worrying whether I would get everything written down. So I'll have to make sure that, you know, somebody's here to help me and do all that, but we'll do it. So see how that ship just pops off our book? And then I do have, if you're not in our, I always forget to mention this, guys, and I should put it in the pin post. I don't know why. So if you're not in our Charming Chalk Art VIP non-designer group, I do put bundles together, and I always list my workshops and stuff in there. So if you're not in that group, make sure to answer or ask to join, and make sure you answer the 3 questions because we can't have any designers in that group. So that's what we have so far on this book. So we've got our little birds and we've got our ship. Isn't that awesome? Like, this would be such a fun workshop, I think. Anyway. All right, so now we're going to go with our second layer. I think that is so cool, right? So, I mean, there's so many different ways that you could go with these books. You could do children's books. I have this napkin with beautiful ballerinas on it, pink ballerinas that I just got in, that I'm thinking a little book set for Skylar's room would be so cute with, you know, just inspiring words on it. I think that would be so fun. Oh gosh, there's like so many different ways you could go. You do a stack of books for Christmas and every holiday. I mean, just easy peasy. So that was my biggest problem because, you know, I did get my napkins, even though my rack was busted all to hooey. God, you guys, it was so bent. It looked like the truck had actually run over it. Well, I think maybe that's what happened. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but it was crazy. All right, let me line this up and get this. So I didn't do the registry marks. Guys, I've been doing chalk couture since way before we even had registry marks. So I'm so used to lining it up without that I forget they're there. That's still super sticky. I'll make sure that's all dry. Lots of fuzzing, guys. Lots of fuzzing. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. So I just move it until I can see through it and I can see that I'm not on any of the color we just put down, because that's how it lines up. Oh good, I'm gonna get some of those, I'm gonna get all the watermarks on there because I moved that up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna make sure it's down, no air bubbles. They're really tiny lines, so there won't be any much chance of air bubbles there. It's when you have the bigger, wider spaces. Stacy, I bet you've been having fun with all your new fun stuff. You gotta send me some pictures of what you've been doing. And Michelle went live with her fun stuff the other night. Did an amazing job. Did y'all see Michelle's live? Michelle and Stony? He did a great job. And she had never touched chalk couture prior to that. So it shows you it is that easy. Okay, got everything covered. We're going to scrape it back. And then just pull that up. Oh, how pretty. All right. So now wet the back first. And then flip it over. So you always want to make sure your water is deep enough too, so that the transfers, when you're putting more than one, have room to float, you know, not push down hard on each other. Okay, so now we've got our gold. So you can just see the shimmer of the gold on the book. And now we'll get that dry. And then we're going to put the words across it, or maybe down here. I'm not sure. We're going to get them on there though. Okay, wipe this off. That's so pretty. So, and then, you know, when you do your book, if you want to do nautical, I love that the ship's wheel is kind of right behind the ship. We covered part of it up, but you can move your wheel around, or, you know, whatever. You could do it with the same napkins and it would still look a little different than what somebody else did. Okay, that's dry now, so we're gonna just carve this off. Get a better nail file here. There we go. That got a little stuck to the side, so I'm going to have to take a sanding block and sand that off there. So when you pull your saran wrap tight, it pushes the glue that you put under it, so it kind of squeezed out on that one edge. So I'll have to go through and sand that off a little better. Or you could leave it. I was just thinking I could have left it and make it look like the pages of the book are really ratty. Okay, so there is the cover of this book. And you can save these pieces because you may want to use just some leaves or something like that. So napkins are kind of good to the last drop. It's got some pretty buds on there you could cut out. So we'll hang on to that. All right, so before we put a transfer on here though, we have to put another layer of Mod Podge because the transfer stuck to paper doesn't translate well, you guys. It does not. Sticking it to paper is, I've done it. It's not one of my favorite things to do because sometimes the paper, the fibers of the paper get stuck to the back of your transfer and you lose some of the life. So I always like to go back over it with another layer of Mod Podge before I do any transfers on it. So we're going to do that. So this book, we may not get all the way done. We'll see what time it is. I lose track of time when I just come on here with y'all and hang out. It's so fun. And then I lose track of time. And normally this is, you know, I don't have something planned right after, but you can see with the saran wrap that you also get a very, very smooth You know, you'll have a few wrinkles maybe, but they're so minimal that you really don't notice them. It gets it pretty smooth. And for a book, it could, you know, those little wrinkles, you know, they have character, kind of like the wrinkles in my face. Hopefully they have character. So again, I'm making sure the edges are really down. Okay. So we're going to put that aside and let that dry. Let me put that right up there out of the way. Okay, so let's see. That should be dry now. I wanted to paint the spines of the book and the pages of the book all at the same time because they're all going to have the same color spine on them. And I will go back and paint the backs so that they're all finished. But won't that look cute? Like even just a little book just laying anywhere. I like it. I like it. Okay. That is dry. So now we're going to take this one and get the words. And I got to decide on where I want to put the words. So I was thinking the words were going to go kind of right across the sails. I'm trying to center it. Let me just look. No, I like it in the center. Okay. Sure my words are straight. I'm going to make sure they're down well, and that's going to be black, so the words will show up. Alex and baby are doing well. She's going to be going back to work the 1st of May, so a little bit early, but she's going a little stir crazy. And of course, all of this depends on the coronis. But everybody's doing good. Little Ophelia weighs over 12 pounds now, y'all. She's got 19 chins and rolls for days. She's so cute. So I do get to see them because they're right here in the same town. I haven't seen Ashley and Skylar and Baker and Gatsby or Ryan in like 6 weeks. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, I love it. Okay, let me get this in the water now. Okay. Y'all, look at our book. I love it. You can read it just perfect. Okay. So that one's done. So we still have to do, we're going to do a chalkature on the one we just put more Mod Podge on. But these other two now, let's go ahead and start painting the spine, and I'll show you how to paint the pages. So yeah, thanks for asking, guys. We're having going through some stuff with Dennis, I will tell you. Yeah, so there, if y'all could just, I can't really talk about it because I'll lose it, but yeah, we just need prayers. So if y'all could, if you're so inclined and would send up some prayers, that would be great. We could use them. So things are a little tough. Yeah. Thanks, Lourdes. Reagan's over 11 pounds now. Oh gosh, I bet she's so cute. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so these two, we can go ahead and start painting the spine. So I'm going to use chalk paint again. Now, you can use acrylic paint, just the little craft paint. You can use that. You don't have to use chalk paint. I just have a lot of chalk paint, and I just always grab it because it dries fast, and I just do. So, and I like that matte kind of finish. Let's see, am I done with the decoupage? I think I am. I'm going to stick I've got a little cleaner over here to stick that in so that you don't want your Mod Podge drying in your brush because that'd be a mess. All right. So, and the other thing, you can do the pages with chalk paste too. You can paint with chalk paste. Just water it down a little bit and you can paint with that. So, if you have chalk paste and don't have a color paint, then just thin it down a little bit and paint with that. So I'm going to wet this brush a little bit. So I always, when you're working with water-based stuff, always wet your brush. So you keep your brushes nice and they're easy to clean. Okay. So now I'm just going to go back here and we're going to paint the spine of the brush. So I have an angled brush so that I can get the lines pretty clean. And you always want to make sure with your brushes that you don't get your paint up into that metal part, the ferrule of the brush, because that will ruin your paint brushes if you have nice brushes. So when I paint furniture, I use Purdy brushes. They're really nice brushes. And you want to make sure not to mess them up. So you could do a black spine and then like the boho borders transfer and then put gold. You know, you could do really elegant books. This probably isn't the best angle for you guys to see. Thank you, Connie. I would appreciate that. So guys, remember, if you sprinkled, come back and put the word book. That's our word for today. Oop, almost went around the corner there. I didn't want to do that. Trying to get my line a little cleaner up here at the top. It's been a while since I painted straight lines. I'm usually doing roses, which, you know, you're scalloping things. Okay, so we've got the back of our book on there. And we'll give that just a minute to dry while we do the other one. So, and you have to pay attention because you can't put the back of the book over here because that wouldn't be how the book opens. The book has got to open this way. So you have to think about all those things to make it look very authentic. So even though the spines of the books are going to be all the same color for the base, we're going to do different there'll be different borders used on each one, and then we're going to put words on the spine. So when they're stood up, when they're stacked up, you can read the words on the spine. And I just went through I had to hold my breath on that line, guys. I just went through my transfers and picked out words that I just feel are really inspirational. So that's what we're going to use on the spines of these. That's why I got 90 million transfers piled up over there. And when you pick words from different transfers, will be cohesive with the font that we use, but a little different sizing, which again, to me, just gives it a lot more interest. And you could just cut your wood and paint your books all one color and put some words on the outside of them, on the spine of them, and those are just, tie them up with some pretty ribbon, and those are just adorable. So what I'm doing here is much more detailed than most of what, well, probably, I haven't seen any like this. I'm not going to say there aren't any out there because I'm sure I'm not the only one doing this, but I haven't seen any this detailed. So getting our spines done. So I'm going to set that down. So now what I'm going to do, so we painted all the edges with that lighter, kind of just an antique white. I'm going to set my brush there for a minute. And so we're going to do the pages in the darker browns. So I'm going to grab one that's just a little bit darker. And I need a plate. Hang on. I had to look and see what time it is. I'm going to have to get off here pretty quick. But we'll get these edges done. Let me see if this is dry now. Almost. So I'm just going to take a chip brush, which are really, they're like a buck, y'all. But I love them for doing rough work. So they'll make it look like there's pages in this book just by using a chip brush. I want to get this dry because otherwise I will stick my hand in it when I'm trying to do the pages. Vicki, I do cut my own wood pieces, but I'm probably going to be doing this as a workshop or as a kit, and that will be listed in the VIP group. I can't list those on the main page. But yeah, I do cut my own. And then Michelle and Stony, I think they're going to start cutting some too that y'all can buy. Yes, Elaine, you could. And you know what? I even got it out. It's right over here, and I didn't grab it. But I can go back and put it on, and the line is pretty straight. But I can go back and put it on for sure. I'm just trying to get this dry so I don't stick my hand in it. Okay. So let me get my chip brush. So the ends of the chip brush are just all uneven. They're really inexpensive brushes, but they are perfect to do this type of work. I love them for dry brushing when I do cabinet doors and, you know, dry brushing on anything. I love a chip brush. So I always keep the 1 inch and I think it's a 2 or 3 inch. This one, what is this one? That's a 2 inch. So a one inch and a 2 inch. I always keep those around. And we're going to just do some dry brushing with this. So I'm going to take my plate. I'm going to dip in. So this is a little bit darker color than the base color that I put on there. So I'm going to get some paint on my brush, and then I'm going to come over to my plate, and I'm just going to offload it off the brush. So when you dry brush, it's just that. You want your brush really almost dry. So you're going to offload it. And let me see if I can pull you guys closer yet. Let me not touch that because it's wet. You set that right there. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple of different colors. So I have the lightest color, another darker color, and then a darker color, right? So, but they're all in the same family. Oh gosh, Peggy, you can get I think you can even get chip brushes at Walmart. But any hardware store, any place that sells paint is going to sell chip brushes. They're really, really inexpensive. Okay, so now I'm going to just offload it, and then I'm going to just draw lines. I'm going to take it from one end, and I'm not putting any pressure at all on this, guys. It is so light, feather light. And I'm just going to drag it down the book. And you see the line that it creates? So I'm using 3 different colors because I want these to look kind of old. I want them to look a little old, a little worn. So, you know, when pages of a book age, they're a little different color. They kind of, you know, get brown and, you know, kind of like age spots like we all get. So I'm just dragging ever so lightly, and then we'll do that with 3 different colors. Now, if you push heavier, you'll get a heavier line. So like I'll push heavier on there, and you can see I got a much heavier line. You're welcome, Peggy. You're welcome. Stacy, I make my own chalk paint. So I just go to the paint store. My favorite paint is Benjamin Moore, and then I turn it into chalk paint. Because there's a lot of good chalk paints out there. I'm not dissing on any chalk paint. because there's a lot of really good ones out there. But here's the caveat. Most chalk paint lines have 15, 20 different colors. I've dipped into my next darker and I'm offloading. They have 15 or 20 different colors, and that's it. Well, this girl cannot be limited to 15 or 20 different colors. You know, there's 989 whites, right? So that's why I have made my own for a long time. But I just like chalk paint because it dries quickly. So now I'm going in with my next darker color and just, again, ever so lightly putting more lines. So it's just going to look like pages of a book. So I think you'll agree that these books are really going to look like books when we're done with them. So I'm doing each side, and again, fairly light pressure. You can do a little bit stronger pressure here and there, but it's fairly light pressure all throughout. So you just get those lines that look like pages, and I wanted to make sure to show you this. Oh, I love it. Look at that, guys. So we're just getting our pages going. Okay. And I don't swish my brush around, so, and it's dry, so I just dip into the next darker color. And I'm kind of laying these out on the plate so that I can hold the plate up and you can really see the differences in the colors. So you'll get an idea how, you know, how the different colors go. So now this dark brown, I'm only going to do ever so slightly. Just almost like, just like little shadows. Line frame, okay. Sometimes I accidentally take it out of the picture. I try to be careful not to do that. Okay. So offload, you know, the paint till your brush is just really about dry. And make sure to come around the corner. Okay. So hold it up like that. So you can just see those. So it looks just like pages of a book. You should do a live on how to make the chalk paint. I could do that, Stacy, for sure. For sure. Okay, so this book is done other than a word on the back of it. Let me make sure that's dry, and that is dry, and that's probably as far as we're going to get today, but you get the idea. Let me show you I'm going to show you this up close so you can see. So the first color was lighter. It's like this kind of an antique white, and then the other three colors are just slightly different. Okay, let me cover this up before I spill it. Well, we almost got them all done. But it's going to be like, so this book will go on top of this book, and you could, you know, just set it there and kind of, you'll see the color peeking through here and there. This will all get sealed with a matte finish sealer when I'm done. And then we will put a word on the back. So the words that I chose that I think I'm positive I'm using, we're still gonna do some spine work with these. Maybe I'll come back on tomorrow and we'll finish them. Why don't we do that? Because I gotta go, you guys. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. But we almost got this one done. So I'll come back on tomorrow. And because this is not quite dry yet. And we're going to do chalk couture in the middle of that. So we will finish these books tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do. Because we don't have that much more to go. And then maybe we'll even get the floral build done with the bow for the door tags. Maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow. But there is our books. And they look like real books. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I sure enjoyed having you guys on here. I so appreciate your friendship and your prayers for my family and your friendship. And, you know, I feel like I know you guys. And, yeah, some of you I got to meet at Wreath Makers Live last year. And it was so fun. And so I do appreciate each and every one of you. And I appreciate all the sprinkles, too. That helps the page to grow. So I'm just kind of getting back in the groove. Now that my body is behaving a little bit better. So I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow, probably around the same time. So it's a date. We'll finish our books and maybe do that floral build. So love you all to death. Talk to you later. Bye.